Welcome to the next video in our Proxmox series. So in this video, we will be installing Windows Server. So to install a Windows Server is very similar to installing the regular Windows Workstation VM. So we're going to start with the node PVE and then create the VM. Once again, it will automatically assign the VM ID number, and we're just going to call this DC1 because it will be our domain controller. For the operating system, we select the ISO that we had downloaded previously for the server. Of course, change to Microsoft Windows. Now, this doesn't give you an option for the server. I'm going with Windows 10, and I think that will allow us to install this Windows 2022. We will want to add the VirtIO drivers and then select that ISO as well. Then we can select next. For the system, we do want to include a QEMU agent. We'll keep everything else the same. We'll go to disk. Let's give it 100 gigabytes in size. We'll keep everything else the same. For CPU, I'll add it to 2 for now. I may need to increase that later, but for now we'll just keep it at 2 cores. And for memory, I'll bump it up to around 6. Once again, we can make these changes later if we need to. We'll disable the firewall for now. As I mentioned before in previous videos, we'll do a whole video on networking where we'll set up a firewall and router and all the networking stuff that we need. Then we can select next. This is just to confirm everything seems to be in order. So we'll select finish. Now you see underneath our node, we see our domain controller. So we can go ahead and start it. So now we'll just have to do the install of Microsoft Server. So everything's in order, so we'll select next. Now we'll install. All right, so this is important. Make sure you choose the desktop experience. I'm just going with the standard evaluation. I don't need the whole data center evaluation. We are going to use this for a domain controller, but the standard evaluation. But the important thing is to make sure that you select the desktop experience and then select next. We will accept the license terms. We'll select custom, and once again, you don't see the drivers. So we don't see the hard drive because the drivers are not there. So we'll load the drivers just like we did before. Now they're already showing up. So I'm just going to pick this one. I think this is the 2022 version of server, and I'll select next. Once that is recognized, then we can go to next, and we'll do a normal Windows install. And I'll pause the video as this installs. So the first part of the install is complete. So now we just need to configure it. So we'll start out with giving it a password and confirming the password. So now we're ready to log in. Okay, since we need to enter Control-Alt-Delete to get logged in on the server, we're going to switch from console down to no VNC. And now we see with no VNC, we have a different console that we can work from. We select show extra keys. This is the Control-Alt-Delete. So now we can log in with the password that we created. So you will have to use no VNC or no VNC, and then later we'll install Spice, but you can't just use a straight up console or you won't be able to send the Control-Alt-Delete. All right, so we have the Windows Server is up. I did notice that we don't have a network connection, so we do need to install our network adapter just like we did with the Windows Workstation VMs. So we'll select Add Network Device. We're just going to go straight up with the default. Now if we jump back over to no NVC interface, we see now we have the internet connection. So installing server was pretty straightforward. And then in future videos, we'll actually set the server up as well as the networking stuff for the network. But this completes this video, which was just installing the Windows Server.